What's up, guys, and welcome back to Project Time Garage. Well, marketplace, it happened again. See this piece of exquisite beauty right here? Well, that's an Overland rack fitted to a Retrax retractable bed cover. Can't talk this morning. And yeah, it's upside down, but the idea here is we're going to put this piece of plunder here on that there 2003 Ford F350 with a 6.0 diesel. See, currently I have this this backflip bed cover that does fine and all, but it's just a little bit lower profile than what I wanted. Plus I wanted the Overland rack anyway to be able to put kayaks and junk up top because we pull the camper with this truck a whole bunch. Well, as luck would have it, got a buddy of mine over here today that also has a Ford F350 Louisville cab truck. This is the F350 project. I know a bunch of you guys have seen that. So rather than getting rid of this bed cover, he said he would take it. So we're gonna take this bed cover, put it on that truck, take that mess right there, put it on that truck. And while we're at it, I went ahead and scored some wheels and tires. Now, these tires aren't staying. These are 37s, and I'm not gonna run 37s on this truck. 35s at most, 33s probably. But if I have time, I'm gonna pop those on there and just see what they look like. They're a little bit dirty, a little bit worse for wear, but they were pretty cheap. They're gonna work. So, let's set the camera up, get to work. Well, getting this cover off is not really a big deal at all. Underneath here, there are a couple of hand wheels, or hand bolt screw thingies. Take that off each side, and then the entire cover itself will pick up as a unit. And then as far as getting the rails off, they're just held on with these clamps here, kind of like the camper shells use. So pretty straightforward as far as that goes. So let's get that off. All right, with that off, pretty easy. We'll just reassemble on this one. Enjoy the montage and listen to some music. That's better. Oh, that's one down, one to go. I have to deal with this disaster. Before I get too crazy putting this this cover on here, or this cover and rack assembly on here, happen to have some of this expandable foam weather seal. I think this came from Home Depot or Lowe's or somewhere. I just happen to have it, so I'm gonna go ahead and lay down a like a bead of it around the whole truck. Or at least the front part of the truck box before I set the rack down on it. Hopefully that'll kind of help it to seal a little bit better and maybe not leak, who knows. Well, there it is, just sitting up there. Still got to do a little bit of work and cleanup and stuff, but I think once you get the big tires on there, that's gonna look pretty good. So we got it all mounted up there. It actually looks pretty good on the truck. It didn't look really good with those stock tires, so I'll put those on. Those are 37 by 1250 on 20 by 10 wheels. The 37s are too big for the truck, there's no doubt about it. They do rub. As a matter of fact, you can see right back there on the inner fender where they've rubbed some. And of course, you know, there's the old classic fix the front valence. I'm not going to keep the 37s on it. I really just bought them for the wheels because they were, you know, they were cheap. So I think what I'm going to do is just get a set of, I'll probably actually go back with 33 by 12s or 33 by 12.5 on those wheels. I don't really want the truck up in the air like that so much because I do pull a camper with it. That's primarily what its task is. And I really just don't want to have to deal with that, having to drop the hitch more. Right now the hitch I'm running has dropped as far as it'll go down. So if I raise the truck up any more, then I'm going to have to actually buy another drop. And you know, those hitches with the equalizer bars and all that stuff, they are expensive, like insane money. So anyway, I don't want to do that. But overall, you know, the stance of the truck, it does look really, really good. I've forgotten how much I like it lifted up like this. See, I had a set of 35 by 1250s on here. Actually, the ones that are on my black truck that I call Freedom on the channel, those wheels and tires started life on this machine. And when I started towing my camper a whole bunch and, you know, going on camping trips and things with my wife and kids, I decided to go ahead and put this thing back down and, you know, get it a little shorter for the camper and a little easier to pull. But now that I've put the rack on there, the other wheels, they looked really silly, so I didn't want to do it anymore. Oh, also, just because I'm an overachiever, look, I went ahead and put my my light bar back on the front. This thing was on there for, I don't know, a couple of years, and when I took it down, it looked silly with that bar and factory wheels, so I hung it on the wall and it stayed there forever. If you go back to some of my old videos, you'll see it hanging on the wall in the background years ago. So that's back up there and looking pretty decent, I think. No, they're not hooked up yet. I'm getting to that. Only thing I've got left to do on this, oh, I mounted a fire extinguisher up there because, well, you know, need a fire extinguisher. And anyway, I got that mounted up there, and then the previous owner had this this is like flex seal tape on here because I guess he had problems maybe with it leaking under his bed or something, so he put this tape down it. I'm gonna have to get all this stuff off with a heat gun, I guess. It certainly doesn't want to peel off. It leaves just awful snot behind, so I'll deal with that. But that's why I wanted to put that foam under here before I put the cover on here, just to make sure that wasn't an issue in the future. But as far as the cover goes, made it much handier in order to store stuff and such. I think it's going to work really well for what we're going to use it for. If you did miss that, which is mainly, you know, a place to store kayaks when we go camping, and you know, that's pretty much it. Plus, you know, I can get some more stuff here. I keep a couple of 5-gallon jerry cans in the bed here full of diesel fuel, just because you never know when you might need it. I use it more to start fires with than anything, honestly. But anyway, I thought about getting a couple of the jerry can mounts and put up here. I don't know how overland I want to go with it, but you know, the fire extinguisher is nice to get out from behind the back seat and have a permanent home for it. Not really worried about that thing sitting out in the weather because the truck lives indoors all of its life. You know, it spends, I don't know, a couple, 3 days, you know, every few months outside when we're camping, and that's about it. The rest of the time it's an indoor truck. One of the next things I guess I'm going to do with this is I'm going to try to find one of the Overland awnings that goes on the side. I'm really interested in the one that fans all the way out and goes all the way around the back and creates like a, you know, like a square habitat on two sides of the truck here. I'm going to try to find maybe one of those or something like that, because again, at campsites it is handy to have a little extra, you know, shade. You can always pull this thing up next to the camper's awning and, you know, build a little more shade with it. The other thing I'm looking at doing is maybe trying to get a couple of LEDs back there, and you know, on this back bar, just for some spotlight, you know, outside at night. And I may look at mounting maybe some kind of LED strip, maybe one underneath here or something that's not super bright, maybe underneath one of these bars, pointing down just to illuminate the bed. Of course, if I were to do that, then I would have to put some kind of a switch back here, because I wouldn't want to get in the truck every time I decided to use it. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, I guess I've got a lot more stuff I want to do to it. I think I'm going to go a little closer to that whole overland look with it, because I really like how it looks. So, plus, you know, I've not really done a lot to this truck on this channel. I just primarily use the thing, and it sits in the background. So figure you guys might like to see a few videos on that. So look for that coming your way too. I'm going to get busy bringing some stuff and ordering some things, and see if I can find, there's a switch panel out there, a switch pod, kind of like I have in Freedom. It's an aux beam, I believe. It has a panel that goes up front for the driver and passenger, or for the driver's area, to turn on and off lights and various things. But it also has a remote option that you can put at, like, maybe at the back of the truck, so you can turn on and off lights and things at the back. And that's what I'm really interested in, because, you know, you're at a campsite, the truck's parked next to the camper. It would be nice to be able to, you know, have a couple of options to turn on some lights outside, just to, you know, just for, you know, utility, I guess. Anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. It was kind of just a little fun, something that I decided to do at the spur of the moment, so didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. But anyway, guys, as usual, guys, I appreciate you watching the video. If you haven't already subscribed, really appreciate it. Don't forget to tell all your friends about us. I'll see you next time.